Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
I'm Michael.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael. And if you're hearing our voices, that means you're listening to the Brothers Newland on the Toy Rewind Podcast.
What did Andrew say?
He said he's Michael.
Did I say I'm Michael? Oh my gosh. I didn't even. I'm Andrew. This is
we just talked about doing something funny at the intro, and we decided not to, and trying to be serious. And Andrew goosed it all up.
We're so close, so far.
Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast. I'm Andrew. This is John and Michael. They're above me. If you're watching us on the live feed, if you're just listening to us, thanks for listening to us. Yeah, we are the Brothers Newland. We're here. We're going to talk about a fun toy line this week. This is actually one that I kind of wanted to talk about earlier, but we wanted to spread out some of these bigger, fun toy lines out as we were kind of talking about stuff. So this week, it's ThunderCats. Like, this is a fun one to me. So I'm hoping to learn a little bit more from Michael as he goes through more history, even though we've talked about LJN's history quite a bit. But you know, that this toy line, this cartoon was fun. So I'm excited about this one. But before we can get into that, we have John. We got our social medias. Can you go through those for us like you always do? So well.
Yeah, I think I can do that. So check us out on our website, toyrewindpodcast.com. Email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Look us up on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. They're all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube, of course, is Toy Rewind Podcast. We do stream our toy box showcases when we do them. We need to do one. I know we have a lot of stuff to open.
We have a lot.
I think all of us have a lot of stuff to open. We've got a couple of those we need to do and start getting those going. But we stream our toy box showcases to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And then, of course, if you're listening to us, you can look up our podcast bingo cards at podcastbingo.com/toy rewind. Andrew takes care of those and keep those updated and adds new squares and everything. So check that out. And then, do we have a collector showcase coming up or anything with the Geek Together channel on Twitch?
We're working on getting one scheduled out. So
we're working on
check us out. We'll be that. We've got a lot of ideas. We're just working on trying to get schedules lined up with people, our schedules lined up, all that good stuff. So we've got ideas, people we want to talk to, and kind of get some more stuff. You were talking about things we need to open. I got something the other day that I couldn't wait to open. I got a Batman grappling hook, and this thing is so much fun. I still don't even have batteries in it, and I play with it. I got it yesterday, and I played with it like all day today.
Does it help you scale the wall?
No, it doesn't go that far. The grappling hook doesn't even open, but it's technically my first NECA toy because I didn't even know it was NECA until I bought it. But it's a NECA toy, and
that one's from the animated series, isn't it?
It is. It's from the animated series, so it's very blocky. It looks like a building. Like if you were to put it there, like it looks like a building to me.
Yeah, it does.
So, but it is freaking awesome, and it's fun to play with.
You picked that up when y'all went to Shreveport and met Joey, right?
Yeah, we met up with Joey. Me and Michael met up with Joey from the Dorksman, and kind of did some toy searching around in the Shreveport area. Had a lot of fun. So picked that up and a couple other things, some black and white Batmans for me. I know Michael picked up some Hot Wheels. So,
well, I know we all picked up some stuff from the
the toy show, the Dusty
Attic toy show. So
yeah, actually,
I got a few things from there.
I guess Michael did get some stuff from this. He was trying to sell a bunch of stuff. So,
right.
Yeah, but I guess
he did some trading.
Yeah.
I picked up a couple things. Yeah. I did more selling than buying, but that's usually what happens when I do set up a table.
Which is what you're trying to do, yeah.
I don't get to wander around and figure out what I want. I go and look at something, and I have to come right back to the table. So
right.
I spend less when I'm actually a seller. So
yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun to be there. That happens in Garland every month, every
second Sunday.
Oh, second Sunday. Every second Sunday of the month in Garland. So be sure to check out. You can check out our social medias to get links over to theirs. But it's the Dusty Attic Toy Show, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're in the area and you want to check that out, do it because there's lots of fun there. We saw Patrick there, so yeah, lots of fun stuff. So all right, we have let's see. Oh, our fun for all question. This is kind of I don't know. We've kind of talked about our favorite artists before, right? Our music artists. We've done that, but this question is more about the show than the actual artist to me. I think. If you could have front row seats to any concert, what would you choose? So this is past, present. I mean, I guess you don't know what's going to be in the future, but but if you could have any concert, and it can be, you can say an artist, you can say a specific show if you wanted. I mean, it's up to you what you want, but yeah, that's the question. So since we're getting back to un-COVID times, and maybe some people are going to start, what would you like to go see? Who would you like to go see if you could go see anybody you wanted? Any show. So we'll start with Michael.
I'd always like to see Alan Jackson in concert. I haven't seen that, but and I really don't have to be front row for that. I'm trying to think of who I would like to see and be in front row. Probably somebody like 3 Doors Down, or
that would be a lot of fun.
Somebody like that would be pretty cool to listen to see up close. If you go back watching, I don't know. I guess you'd have to see somebody who puts on a big show type thing like that. Kind of like if you're in country, kind of like Garth Brooks put on those huge shows like that. I would think something like Prince would put on a pretty good show. I think
that would be a good show.
Anything like that with a lot of visual effect type stuff, I think would be pretty cool to see up close. But yeah, I'd like to see, like I said, 3 Doors Down, or I was thinking of another group just a minute ago, and my mind just went blank. But yeah, that's something like that. Yeah.
Okay, John, what do you got?
I'm not really sure. I'm not big. Like, I probably couldn't tell you half the music playing on my radio.
Right.
Driving to work, because I'm not big into it. But I did get the advantage when we were younger. I got to go to Texas Motor Speedway to a big deal there they had, and got straight up against the stage with Collective Soul. Playing theirs, got to listen to them sing Shine.
I was about to say that would have been Shine, right?
Yeah, that was Shine. But we made it right up to the stage right in time for that, and then of course we jetted after that. So but that was also, I guess that was right when Dad was having his first back surgery. Right around that time, I had his red S10 at the time. We took it up there, me and Bill did. But no, I guess now it would be something I would like to go and listen, probably do a Blake Shelton concert or something like that. Toby Keith, some of the big country stars now that I'd like to listen to and go to theirs. So,
all right. So obviously, me being the youngest of the three of us, I'm going to pick some of the oldest bands. I'd love to see the Stones, but back in their day, like back when they were younger, not when they were in their 90s, being held up by strings in a way, like a Stones concert, something like that. A lot of fun. I still haven't seen Green Day in person, and I would love to go see a Green Day concert. Yeah. It'd be a lot of fun. But the one show that I know would be a lot of fun, and I'm not a country music fan, but Brooks and Dunn from the late 90s, they had
that would be
I remember this from the videos. They would show some of their videos, their concert videos, and on YouTube. So they had this big stage set up, like slides and all these different things, and they'd run around the stage like crazy, and that just like their energeticness would just be a lot of fun to watch. So that would definitely be on my list to go see. But like I said, it's all when people are younger and not their older selves trying to just put on a show to get money, Yeah.
The one I was thinking about was Lincoln Park. I was trying to think of things.
Oh, Lincoln Park would be a good one.
Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
And if I would go back to the 60s or something, early 70s, I would see, I would like to see the Monkees.
Oh yes. Hey, we're the Monkees. That would be a fun one to see. My dog is snoring on the other side of the room. I don't know if you can hear her. Yeah, I may have to get rid of her soon. She's very loud, so I apologize for any ears that she may bust. The older shows.
Bingo squared.
There's your bingo square. I have no interest in any hip hop music really to go see those concerts. Even if I'd like a song or two, just dealing with the people.
Right.
I can't do that.
There's some that me and my buddy Sean, we listened to back in high school. He had his Pinto, and the speakers were better than the more expensive than his Pinto was. But anyway, it was a lot of LL Cool J and
Sean's always listening to that stuff.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And yes, those speakers were much better than the actual car.
Was Informer. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. There's the concerts we want to see, or past and present. I guess not any future because we don't know who's going to play what. I got that question. I was thinking about it because I know the SDS guys were talking about trying to go to Austin City Limits.
Well, I guess one of the coolest ones I ever got to do was actually I got to listen to Charlie Daniels.
That would be fun.
And we were on in New York on the island there with the immigration stuff.
Ellis Island.
Yes. We were on the lawn and had a deal with them, so that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
That seems fun. So
you can't beat something like that. Place, person, timing.
Yeah. So, like I said, I kind of got that question I was thinking about because SDS guys were talking about Austin City Limits, and even though they don't know much of the music that's going to happen there, I still think they should go and check out the atmosphere. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So
it'd be a good atmosphere, yeah.
Yeah, be definitely something fun to go see because that place is pretty cool. So, all right, well, let's jump into it. We have ThunderCats to talk about, and if we don't talk about them soon, Lion-O might come and get us. So, with his sword. So, Michael, I'm going to roll it onto you. You give us some history, Mr. Professor.
All right, so ThunderCats. So, in 1985, LJN. Released the first series of ThunderCats to coincide with the cartoon of the same name. So the cartoon series was based on characters created by Ted Wolfe and produced by Rankin Bass. Everybody knows Rankin Bass from the Christmas cartoons from the 60s,
right?
Early 70s with Rudolph and all them. So the cartoon series ran for 4 seasons with 130 episodes. It followed a team of cat-like humanoid heroes from Thundera who crash land on Third Earth after their planet Thundera is pretty much destroyed. And they were trying to get off the planet, and one ship got away, and it just had these few ThunderCats on it. So when they landed on there, they consistently fought against Momra, who was the evil force on the Third Earth where they landed at, and then the mutants of Plundar, who were actually after them when Thundera kind of was destroyed. So they caught up with them, and they kind of helped Momra, or Momra kind of enlisted them, and they're kind of a bumbling bunch of fools. The mutants were. So They were kind of funny to watch. But they're all trying to get a hold of the Eye of Thunder, which is the center part of Lion-O's sword. But that's kind of a quick rundown of the cartoon series. But the series, the Sword of Omens. Yeah,
I was about to say, if you remember, I talked about this sword when we had Damien on, and our question was, what mythical sword would you have if you can have anything? And I picked this one.
Yeah,
because I love the Sword of Omens. It's freaking awesome.
It gives Lion-O sight beyond sight, and it calls all his ThunderCats, all his people to him, and everything. So it just gives him the power to kind of control them a little bit, but and he's the leader of the group. So, but getting back to the toy line, these figures are 6-inch figures. They lasted for 3 years and consisted of 3 different series, with several of the figures, or most of the series 1 figures kind of carried on through all 3 series. They just added some to series 2, and they added more to series 3. So, a feature that these figures all had, or most of the figures had, was called Battlematic, which is LJN had introduced the Battlematic action feature in a previous line that they had done of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This was a feature that most figures had and was utilized by a lever, generally in the back of the figure. You'd press the lever and his arms or something would happen. Most of the time, majority of them were either the right arm did something that's usually the one holding the weapon, or some of them had both arms. They would either both go up and down together or opposite of each other, just depending on what kind of weapon or whatever they had going on as a figure. So another feature that was unique to only to Lion-O and Mumra were light up eyes. These figures came with a power ring that you could put on your finger and kind of put it, and then the end of it had a contact, and you would put that contact in the back of the figure, and the eyes would light up and it was powered by a battery, but it would light up the eyes in the figure. So it was only for Lion-O and Mumra had that. So the figures also came with the fold-out mini catalog. So each one, when you open up the blister pack, there was a mini catalog featuring all the ThunderCat toys produced for that wave or for that series. The line consisted of the heroes and villain figures. There's a companion series that came along in Series 2. Series 2 also saw the introduction of the Berserkers and play sets. There was vehicles in the line. There were little things you could put on. They're called laser sabers. You would strap it onto your figure, and it shot lasers at either each other, or you can interact it with the layer, cat slayer. Also, let's see what else. And then they had other toys that were ThunderCat themed as well. So Series 1 pretty much consisted of, you got your main heroes and villains. You had Lion-O, you had Tigra, Panthro, and Chitara. The Tigra was actually a younger version. It was a different version because in Series 2, the LJN wasn't happy with the way Tigra looked, so they kind of changed the mold completely. And so the young, or the original Tigra was produced for Series 2, but not very long and before the new one came out. And so there was 2 versions, and the newer one was a little bit bigger. So people just call it the old Tigra. I was wondering, young Tigra and old Tigra. Yeah,
I was wondering about that because I saw a couple of things when I was looking on some eBay stuff, and there was an old Tigra, and I was like, aren't they all? I mean, all these are old, aren't they? But that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah. So it just makes him. It's a little bit bigger, larger figure than the young one is. So The villains, you had Mumra, you had Slythe, Monkeyan, and Jackalman. Those were the bad guys for series 1. And then the vehicles, you had Thunder Tank, Sky Cutter, and Nosediver were what you had for those. A couple other things they had. There was Astral Moat Monster. He was just some kind of monster that was on Third Earth, and he's got wings that came with him. And that's about it. Let's see. It had posable wings, and his arms and feet were posable too. You had a Sword of Omens, which was a 22-inch sword, and it had a light up Eye of Thundera. So you'd press a button on the hilt and on the handle, and it would light up that center part there, like you were being Lino and shooting it in the sky. So, and then there was also a big wheel pedal bike as well. You know, the three-wheeled big wheel bikes that everybody liked to ride back in the 80s. This one had the middle of the handlebars had a lion head, and then the handle grips itself had like lion claws on the handlebars. So it was pretty cool. But going back to the heroes and stuff, their battle-matic action. Lino had his sword arm would go up and down his right arm. Let's see. A lot of these had different kind of variations as well. So the Lino had 3 color variations of his hair and weapons. They had an orange variation, a red variation, a maroon variation. And then he came with the Sword of Omens, claw shield, and power ring to light up his eyes. The Tigra, the young Tigra, he came with his Bolo whip. And his arm moved up and down. He just had one arm. And some of his releases in release 1 came with the Wily Cat figure. Not all of them did, but some of them did. It was just a PVC, it didn't have any articulation or anything. It was just a figure that came with it. Let's see, Panthro, he had where both his arms would move in opposite directions. So when you press the button, his arms would go up and down, but they were opposite of each other.
He was running like Flash.
Yeah, kind of like that, but
like a panther.
And then he had some variations in his blue coloration. He had a light blue to a dark blue color swings. You kind of get that with some of those back then. It just depends on where they were in the molding, the color. If they're getting close to the end, it's probably a lighter color than at the first, of the run. Chitara, she had both arms that moved up and down, but they moved together the same. Both went up, both went down together. That's because she had a bow staff, and holding that bow staff, she would just move both hands with that bow staff.
Yeah, because her hands were like this. They were like one was
holding.
Yeah, they weren't the same way. One was opposite. So
yeah. So, and then she came with some of her releases. In release 1, came with the Wily Kit, which was Wily Cat's sister. It's the same thing, no articulation, just a PVC piece. And then Mumra, he came with his arms did the same thing as Panthros did. You get up and down opposite directions. So that's what his was. And then he came with a sword, a dagger, his headdress, and his power ring to make his eyes glow. A couple of variations on him. His skirt and accessory stuff had 2 different colors: a dark red or a light red.
It's kind of like it matches up with Lino, with the darker and the lighter.
Yeah, darker and lighter. And then his dagger blades his daggers came in different colors. He had a gray dagger or a silver dagger or a black dagger. So he had different variations on his weapons there too. Also, one other thing was Lino and Mumra, for this first release, they sometimes came with a battery in the package with it. and sometimes didn't. So
what
but
batteries included? I didn't realize that was
they
a thing.
included a battery on some of it. I think it was an Energizer battery, I think. But
I didn't realize that was a thing. Toys come with batteries?
yeah, apparently they did on some of these. So kind of like the others, you had Slythe and Monkey-In and Jackalman. They all their arms. It was all their right arm, which is what they held their weapon with, went up and down. And then they had Slythe came with a battle axe. Monkey-In came in with a chain mace and a helmet. And then Jackalman had a club and a shoulder strap. They also had in Series 1 some vehicles. They had a Thunder Tank. And the action on this was you press the button on the back and the mouth would pop open. The front of the tank would pop open like a mouth. And the claws where the front wheels were, they would lift up and it would all reveal laser cannons and all that. And then the back would open up, revealing a pivoting cannon blaster. So a cool fact about this is, if you watch the cartoon, Panthro was the one that always drove it because he was the mechanical person on the show. So he always drove it on the cartoon, but due to the way his legs and stuff were done, he couldn't fit into the tank. So he was sat in the back, but he couldn't fit in the driver's seat. So they always had Lion-O driving the tank on all the promotional pieces and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Let's see, the Sky Cutter was had mechanical flapping wings, and you control that by pressing the back wheel of the Sky Cutter, and when you would flip there's two wheels on each side of the wings. When you flip those down, you can actually set it on the ground and it would roll on land. That's what it was said. That only held one figure, whereas Thunder Tank held two figures. So Series 2, moving on to Series 2.
Wait, so before we move on to Series 2, I want to talk about Mumra.
Okay.
Why are his legs shorter?
I don't know.
I mean, have you really looked at him?
He's a big figure. I think because this line is actually like a 6-inch line.
Is he like 7 inches or something?
And he is 7, yeah.
So what they did,
it's 6-inch figures, but I think Lion-O and Mumra are 7 inches. The rest of them are right around 6 inches.
Oh, well, that doesn't. I was going to say, then what it looks like what they did then is they stretched the torso and kept the legs the same length, and then it becomes out of proportion. So I'm going to show this if I can, because he looks funny. Because you look at this, that's not proportionate.
Yeah, he's got
all the rest of them.
Shorter legs. Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know if there was a reason why, if you saw anything on that as to why he's got this.
No, I didn't. It didn't say anything about why his legs were shorter than the other figures.
Honestly,
because he's like a mummy, and the others have longer legs because they're like cats. I guess I don't know. So
all right, I guess I'll take that.
Yeah.
He looks dumb. I'll just say that. And he needs to find a dentist.
Yeah.
Well, he's an ancient being, that's a mystic being, that sorcerer, So,
all right.
And that's what he looks. That's after he's woke up. When you first see him after he wakes up, he's still wrapped up in his mummy thread. So
right. So
that's him already fixed up. So
we can move on to
Series 2. You also saw the release of the same figures that I just read. You got Lion-O, Young Tigra, Panthro, Chitara, Mumra, Slythe, Monkey-In, and Jackalman. But they added 3 more heroes and 3 more villains, and then they have the companions to the set too. So the heroes, they added 3 more heroes. You had Tuska Warrior, which is a walrus looking guy. He his like same with everything else. His right arm moves up and down. And then he's got a head variation where you got him either where his head was fixed in one spot, or you get it when his head can actually turn side to side. So yeah, Andrew's got a picture there.
And they think he can fight somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
So,
all right.
And what's cool about this gun he's got, the rifle gun he has, when you look at all the promotional pieces and stuff on the catalogs and stuff, it's just a gray. I think it's gray, or maybe it's black. A gun. That's actually a gun that they used in the Dune, the LJN Dune line. It's the exact same thing, but I guess when they were taking the pictures for the catalogs, they didn't have his gun completely ready, which is silver and green. So
you're not talking about this one.
No, and all the catalogs and stuff, it's just a straight color. I think it was gray or black. I can't remember, but I think it's black. But it belonged to one of the Dune characters.
Interesting.
Yeah. Same thing. Then you have the next one is Hachiman, who is a samurai. His is different on his action feature because his button is actually on his side. So what he does is he twists side to side when he's slinging his samurai, his katana sword. It's called a Thundercutter katana sword. So when he's swinging it side to side, so the button for his action fixture is actually in his leg, in his side. So it's not in his back like the rest of them are. And he also comes with a helmet, samurai helmet. So the next one is Snowman of Hook Mountain. He's like a big monkey type. I guess I'm trying to think of what he might. I think it's some kind of monkey or something. But he's probably one of my favorite characters from the cartoon was him, because he's kind of off to himself. He doesn't like to be bothered much, but he does like to help out. So
as do most monkeys.
Yeah. So he lives up in the mountains where all the snow is. So, again, his right arm moves up and down. He comes with a helmet, a spear, and a shield. Similar to Tuska Warrior's rifle gun. The promotional pieces that they had for the catalogs and stuff for Snowman, his spear and shield were actually different than what you got when you got the toy. They actually came from, I think, one of the figures from. Let me look it up real quick. One of the figures from the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Let me see. There was something. I don't see it on here, but oh yeah, here it is. So the particular shield and spear that were actually released with the figure were different. So the ones that were in the things that you saw were from Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, is where the shield and spear were actually seen when you got the figure in the package, you got something different. When you got a shield and a spear, but it looked different. So, this is the series 2 also saw the introduction to the old Tigra, which we just said. So officially, it was never given, but it was likely that LJN was not happy with the original Tigra, and then they had a new one in 1986 for Series 2, which was a completely different body mold and head mold for the new one. So, like I said, he is a little bit bigger than the young Tigra, but also with the old Tigra and the young Tigra, also came with or all the young tigers for Series 2 came with the Wily Cat, and then Old Tiger, some of them came with the Wily Cat. So not everybody did. So that was just something that they came with. And then Chitara, some of her figures packaging came with the Wily Cat or Wily Kit.
Yeah.
And then Lion-O also, some of his came with a Snarf.
But those were PVC versions.
Yeah, those were just smaller characters, just kind of added to the packaging. So they like I said, they didn't have no articulation or anything like that. So but so they were kind of like mini figs that were added to.
Those were boring.
There, so
they were boring.
Yeah. So getting for Series 2, getting into the bad guys, the villains, you had Mumra, Slithe, Munkian, and Jackalman. They were all the same as Release 1's, except Mumra, some of his Release 2 cards came with a Ravage, which is actually, and they renamed him to Malmut, which is the dog, his pet dog from the cartoon series, which is actually pretty funny little dog in there. It's kind of funny, but the way he kind of interacts with Snarf a lot of times later in the series, in the cartoon series. But but his original name was Ravage for this. So he came, like I said, some of those came with that. But so they added 3 new bad guys. You had Rataro, who was a rat. When he did both his arms moved up and down. I never saw if they were together or if they were opposite each other. I tried finding that, but it never really said. And then he came with the rat's eyes size or daggers. There were some variations with his daggers. You had he either came with black daggers with blue eyes painted on the dagger, kind of like the Sword of Omens with the eye there. And then they had the silver with unpainted eyes, and they have a silver with no eye molded into it at all. So it was a completely different dagger than the first 2. So
looks like something that would be with the turtles.
Yeah, it's got a couple little extra things there, but that's about it.
Yeah. So and you kind of look at his kind of works similar. If you watch the cartoon, his works similar to the Sword of Omens, the way he can do things with his daggers like that, magic and stuff. So then they had Groon the Destroyer. He's kind of like a saber-toothed tiger looking guy. He's missing one tooth. He's only got one tooth.
He's only got one tooth.
Yeah. So his right arm moves up and down like everybody else has done. A lot of others do. He came with a battle club or spike base, and then knuckle dusters he came with. So kind of something to put on his hand with spikes on it where he can punch people with it. And then they added for this series, they also added Vulture Man. His action feature was his right arm moves up and down. He had a clawed staff was his accessory. And then he had some variations with him. He had a lighter or darker head harness. So the top of his head is kind of painted blue, like a little helmet type thing. So you either get a light variation or a darker variation. And then he also had some of these had soft heads and hard heads, similar like turtles did back afterwards. So after that, you get into the companions. Now these companions are smaller. They're 4-inch figures, and you get Wily Kit, Wily Cat, Snarf, Malmut, and then you get Burble Bill, Burble Bell, and Burble Bert. So Wily Kit, Wily Cat, Snarf, and Marmot had Snarf had 6 points of articulation, but the other had 5 points. Snarf had that extra with his tail. His tail would move, so that's the extra one. So, and then the Burbles had 3 points of articulation. And then Burble Bill actually had some variations. His feet and knee colors came in 3 different colors. You either get it in a cream color, a yellow color, or a pink color. So
these are disturbing because they look like teddy bears that are going to come.
They are mechanical bears, which kind of remind me of the Ewoks off of Star Wars. So
they look like Ewoks and Teddy Ruxpin kind of hooked up.
Yeah, we had that conversation how to say Rupskin. I said Rupskin. It's Ruxpin.
Ruxpin.
Yeah. So, like I said, me and Rainey had that conversation before, but then we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what they look like. Just mechanical bears, teddy bears that are kind of like Ewoks in Star Wars. So, the next set for Series 2 that they added were the Berserkers. These guys were in the cartoon series. They were like pirates on the ocean on Third Earth. So, and they were bad guys. They were pirates. So the Berserkers consisted of Hammerhead, who was the leader, and then you had Cruncher, Top Spinner, and Ram Bam. So Hammerhead, he had a lever located in his right arm, and when you did it, he had a big mechanical iron type fist arm. When you hit that lever on the back of his arm, it would close his fist, so he can grab a hold of anything that was standing in front of him. So Cruncher, if you pull back his torso, it opens up his arms, and then twisting the lever that was kind of in his leg. When you twisted that, it would cause him to lunge forward and grabbing anything. He's got two big, massive arms that just kind of close in, crunch people with it. So that's what he did. Top Spinner. If you press his lever, it causes upper body to spin. He's actually holding a shield in one arm. Yeah, Andrew's got some pictures of it. One arm and was it a mace in the other arm? And when you hit the button, he would on the back of him. You hit the button, and he would spin around and swinging that around. And early catalogs.
These are all full size figures, right?
These are 4-inch figures. These are all still 4-inch. The companions with Wile E. Kit, Cat, Snarf, and Marmot, and the Burbles were all 4-inch as well. So
so even at 4 inches, that's not a bad. Just thinking about my pops are all 3 3/4 inch.
Yeah.
This picture doesn't do them justice because this picture that I'm showing makes them look like Happy Meal toys.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of does in this picture that we're looking at. Yeah.
Like if Happy Meal, and honestly, all these names and these, I had no idea these were even made.
Yeah.
As part of the ThunderCats line.
And looking at this picture you're showing, it shows 5, and one of them wasn't made, and we'll get to that here, unproduced and prototypes here in a minute. But so 4 out of those 5 were made. So
that picture has 6 in it.
4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, okay. I see the other guy. Yeah, okay. I
just want to make sure you can count. Nate's not here, so I just want to make sure you can count.
No, I wasn't paying attention to the other one there. So, okay, so Top Spinner, like I said, he spins around, spinning his mace around. But in early catalogs, they had him listed as Tornado was his name. So I guess when they were putting it out, they hadn't really officially named him in the cartoon series or something like that.
Yeah.
So, Ram Bam was kind of similar. With the name, he was actually called Ramride, was what they called him in earlier cartoon or earlier catalogs. But his name is Ram Bam. He's got the ripcord that when you pull, he's got this big wheel in his chest, and when you pull that ripcord, the wheel spins, and you set him on his chest, and he takes off and just ramming into anything. So
he looks like his arms are up here, like he's riding a chopper motorcycle.
Yeah, and he looks like that when in the cartoon series he does that too. So, series 2 also. There's a couple other things. The vehicles, you had the Thunderclaw. It actually it was a flying vehicle that it held only one figure. But it had wings, and when you press the button on the back, the wings would would close in underneath the vehicle and grab whatever's underneath it. There was actually 2 variations on this. The U.S. Variant had a wheel on the front, on the bottom, on the front, and it also had some little rubber pieces at the end of the wings to kind of help grab things when the wings closed. The European version had no wheel and no rubber pieces into the wings. So
yeah, they don't need to be worried about hurting each other over there.
No, I guess not. But I don't know why it didn't have the wheel. The wheel, I guess it rolled.
Yeah.
When you set it down or something, it only had that one wheel up front, so I don't know. So, the ThunderCat had a giant spinning rotor on the base. When you pulled the trigger on the back, it would spin the rotor, and it also produced turbo whirl sounds. So when you hit it, it would probably go woo woo, So it only held 1 figure as well. And then you had the Mutant Fist Pounder, which had giant mechanical fists which pounded the ground when rolled. So when you roll it, it would alternate the fist. And this one actually seats 3. It's a bad guy vehicle, and it's in the cartoon series quite a bit as well. And then you see some other things, some play sets and stuff added into Series 2. You had Cat's Lair, which is a pretty cool piece. And then you have Momraw's Tomb Fortress. So let's do the Tomb Fortress first. When you look at it, it's got a centerpiece, and then you have 2 sides, and the sides are statues. And when you're watching the cartoon, these statues are actually in his tomb as well. So there's a minotaur and a reptile statue. Looks like a crocodile, but they kind of slide on each side of the centerpiece.
It looks like a really big minotaur and a dumb alligator.
Yeah. So what's cool about these is these actually have features as well. The Minotaur has a lever on the back, and when you press it up and down, his arms would go up and down like he's hitting on something. And then the reptile or crocodile looking one, alligator looking one, his is his tail. When you push the lever back and forth, and his tail would swing around like he's swinging at somebody. The centerpiece is actually the transformation tomb. So if you're looking at it, it's got a big red door up front. You open the door, you put your figure, your Momraw inside there, and then you close it, and you on the back say a little spinner, and you spin it, and you open it up, and you have your other Momraw. So this actually came with a smaller figure of Momraw as a mummy. So it was a 4-inch, and it only had 3 points of articulation, his arms and his head, and that was it. This was also a mail-in piece as well. So you would send in points of have little points on the back of each package, and whether what kind of package you got 2 points, 4 points, or 6 points on the bigger pieces, and you mail those in, and you get a free mail-in mummy Momraw. So you could either get it with this playset, or you could do the mail-in and get it by himself. So, but you could put your mummy Momraw in the spinner thing, and you spin it, and you can put your regular Momraw in there, and you spin it, and it looks like he's changing from mummy to powerful Momraw. So, the Cat Slayer is a pretty cool piece. It's got like I said, it goes the infrared laser stuff with it. It's got let me find my pictures here.
This is a pretty big piece.
It is 2 feet. Yeah, it's 2 feet tall, and has it kind of looks similar to what you're seeing in the cartoon. It's not exactly like the cartoon, but the top of it has the cat's head, the lion's head on there. It's got the claws that stick out. When you can lift up the claws, exposing like a ion cannon or something like that comes with the set. And the doors will open right in the center. But if you the top of the head part, if you look at it, it's got handles on the back, and you press it. Uses batteries and stuff. You press it, and it shoots a laser. And the thing also comes with a mutant attack sled, which has a laser on it as well. So you actually use the cat's lair to shoot the mutant attack thing. And if you hit it so many times, the shield on the front of the mutant attack tank would pop off. Now, if you shoot the cat's lair with the mutant tank, I think it's 9 times you hit it 9 times, and the front doors of the lair open up. So it just kind of like you're breaking into it. And then if you put your character right inside the door, you hit a button on the back, and there's a trap door right inside the door, and the mutant falls into a dungeon there.
Okay. I want to talk before we move on, because I know there's got more. I want to talk about the price of this one specifically.
Okay.
I was just looking at this because I would love to have one of these to go with my gray skull back here. It would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Except I don't make enough money to get one of these and actually continue to live the way that I do. The most recent one that was complete that sold for $1,200.
Mm-hmm. Complete.
It was complete.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that are incomplete selling for $600, and then you have to find all the pieces for them. Here's $500. There's a cheap version it's like the minifig sets that are 100, 120. Mm-hmm. But this is an amazing set. Why don't we have things like this anymore?
And it is kind of blocky compared to what you see, and I know there was newer lines that have gone out and produced new versions of this, and it looks more like the cartoon one. But this one, this was a little bit blockier, bulkier, but it's original, and just the laser, kind of like laser tag type stuff that you play with it, that you have the feature on it is pretty neat. There was another line we talked about not too long ago that had similar. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, similar things like that. But
I'm just looking at. Here's another one that sold May 23rd, so a month ago. $50 plus $10 shipping. It's just the instruction manual. You could probably get that in a PDF for free somewhere.
Yeah,
probably.
But I mean, you get the original instructions, then that's something else. So
that's just crazy to me. The door of it, $150.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have one of these and you want to gift it to me, just message me, and I will be happy to get back with you if you're listening to this. All the other figures, just since we're kind of talking about prices on these, all the other figures are very, very collectible.
Mm-hmm.
If you make good money. Like everything I've seen is a few $100 at least for all of these, everything that I've seen that sold, except for the companions. The companions run about $50-ish. And I know we're probably going to talk about knockoffs here soon. I know at our toy show, me and John saw a few knockoffs that were selling for good amount of money also, which is kind of crazy.
And they were bigger ones too.
Yeah, they were like I want to say like 10 to 12 inches.
Yeah.
But he wanted a good amount of, I mean, which is, you probably can't find them anywhere. They're probably hard to find.
No, the laser stuff that I'm talking about, that was we talked about that in Brave Star, I think it was.
Oh yeah, Brave Star
had the laser activity where you can play with things with shooting each other like that. So
yeah.
Let's see what else. So this one right here, like I said, it had also you can set your figures. Each side had you put a figure on each one, kind of at a computer desk, looking over the shoulders, and then you had one figure that would sit inside the head, and why it swiveled. It actually swiveled around, so you can swivel around. You had handles that you held with your hands, and you had a button that you'd push to shoot at the mutant tank. So, and then you had the same thing on the mutant tank. You had a handle that you had a button on it, and you would push with to shoot the head on the lion slayer. So, cat slayer. And then they had a something else for Series 2 came out, was a plush Snarf. It was a 12-inch stuffed Snarf.
Stuffed Snarf.
Scary looking. Yeah. So, and then Series 3, you got into, again, they released the same figures, except now you didn't have any that came with the PVC figures. That ended in Series 2. But the good guys added Bengali, Pumara, and then Linkso and Jaga. Now Jaga was from the original group. He was more, and then he kind of died at the first episode, and he's more of a spirit guide to Lion-O throughout the cartoon series. But the other three showed up later, like Series 3, or yes, Season 3 on the cartoon series. But they were just additions to the ThunderCats as well. The villains, you had Mongor, Captain Shiner, Captain Cracker, which was another pirate, and then you had Safari Joe, which went around hunting down the ThunderCats as well, kind of like a big game hunter is what he is. And then you had more vehicles. You had the Luna Lasher, the Thunder Wings, and you had the Stilt Runner, which kind of looks like a ATST type Star Wars figure there. And then you had the Labor Sabers, which were kind of like backpack things you can put on your figures, and they had that laser that you can interact with the Cat Slayer and the mutants sled. So a couple other things they had in Series 3. They had the Thunder Wings Lion-O, which had he had some wings, and then Luna Lasher Mumral. And this came with the Luna Lasher, which was, this one was a completely different figure than the original Mumral. Same thing with the Lion-O that I just said with the wings. Everybody thought it was kind of similar, the same figure, but it's actually a completely different figure. So, but these didn't have the light up eyes and didn't have the Battle-matic action as well. These were just solid, and it's just a little bit different than the original ones that first came out. So,
did they make do you know if they made the same amount of these as they did like the others? Because in the pricing, one of the rarest ones that I found was Driller, and he's from the set.
Yeah, like all lines, when it gets to that last line, the distribution is probably less, so they're less common to find. They're harder to find on some of these. So like Driller, and then there's Stinger as well, which is another one. Look this up real quick.
What I found on Driller is he actually sells for just a little bit less than the Cat Slayer. The most recent one in June for $850 for a figure, and that's opened. That's not even in the box.
Yeah.
Wow.
And his Driller, you squeeze a button on the back of him, cause the bottom half of his, like where his legs would be, it looks like a big drill bit. It would actually just rotate it real quickly, like he's drilling into something. And he's got different. Let's see. He came with 3 different drill bits for the bottom part of the figure. They all look the same to me. I don't think they really see any difference in them. So he was one that came out different, and then what was the other one I said? He was a rampager, is what his designation was. Stinger was the other one.
Yes, yeah.
So Stinger, his battle-matic was the rotation flapping of its. He's got wings. He's got 6 different wings, and his wings would all flap when you the button on his. It's actually on his front abdomen. So when you squeeze him, he would flap his wings. So
you see, yeah. So here's Driller and the Stinger, and then the Mad Bubbler also. But just if you're watching the video, you can see them. Little interesting looking characters.
Yeah. Let's see. Getting to the end of the line here. The Tongosaurus. Let me look at this one real quick.
Tongosaurus. So this looks like somebody was playing Hungry Hippos.
Yeah, it was the largest figure in the line, being almost the same size as the Thunder Tank. Let's see. Let's see. Most of the toys that were produced by LGN were based on the counterparts appearing in ThunderCats, but the Tongosaurus was just opposite. The idea was for the toy was conceived by designers and was submitted to Rankin Bass, who approved the design, and it went into production. The character was then featured in the episode Time Switch in the cartoon series and a small cameo role in order to familiarize children with it. So this one actually appeared as a toy before it was in the cartoon, while everybody else was a cartoon, then it appeared as a toy. So that was what's different about him. His battle-matic action kind of had a retractable tongue. The tongue was controlled by a handle which was located in the back of the figure and shaped like a hook. Looked like it, and it looked like its tail. Pushing it would cause the tongue to extend. The tongue could then be positioned to close to a figure by rotating the handle, and then it would grab the figure with the tongue is pretty much what it did, and pull it back in. So that's what the Tongosaurus did. So that's a pretty good piece. It's the same size as, it's a figure, but it's the same size as the battle tank. So
yeah,
that was a pretty good size figure.
I'm sure he sold for a little bit more because most of the figures, what I saw, were selling for $5.99. So a couple of the larger ones sold for $6.99, but for the most part, they were $5.99. That's the figures, not the vehicles, not the play sets or anything. So
yeah. So there were some that were, some of the figures and toys, vehicles were in the catalogs that didn't get produced. You had Red Eye, you had Cannon Blaster, Quick Jaws, the Mad Bubbler were a few. Red Eye was, I'm trying to think of what. He was kind of with Driller and Stinger and when they advertised him, and he was actually a lunatic. That's what he is. I was trying to think of what he was on the cartoon series. So he was a lunatic, and
lunatic.
Yeah. So lunatics. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me. Lunatax. Sorry, Lunatax. Yeah, you're right, John. They were made into.
That's a bingo. No, it's the other way around.
Yeah,
I think
the other way around.
No, it's if I correct him.
No, it's if Michael
he
corrects
was,
you. I think it's the being.
he was advertised in there in the catalogs, but they were never made them. And none of the other Lunatics were even produced as a toy or even a proto figure. You know, he was the only one. You had Cannon Blaster and Quick Jaws. What I said earlier, those were the pirate guys. You had Red Lino and a Purple Momorall. I know the Red Lino is actually Momorall in disguise as Lino in the cartoon series. So they were going to make a figure for that, but they never did. The Purple Momorall, he's just purple. I don't know why he's purple and not red. Then there was Lizor, that was also advertised but wasn't made. It's a giant lizard-like monster. He was actually the result of modifying another toy called Bullet, Bullete. Bullet was actually originally planned for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but due to reasons unknown, it was scrapped from that line, and instead, altered version of it was planned to be included in ThunderCats. Unfortunately, it did happened here, the same thing. It didn't make it into ThunderCats, so it was supposed to, but it never did. So it utilized the head. The Lizor actually utilized the head and body of Bullet, and there were only a few changes that were made to turn it into Lizor. There's not really much known about it other than it was made. It was supposed to be a Dungeons and Dragons character as well, and didn't make it there either. So
they're just trying to throw it in somewhere. Hey, there's a figure.
I think they're just throwing it in there. You know, like they did with Tongosaurus. You know, they tried to make a figure and then put it in the cartoon series or whatever, just to kind of add stuff to it. But
yeah.
See some vehicles that didn't get made either as well. You had the Feliner, then you had the Thunderstrike, and then you had the Lunatacker. I do remember all those being in the cartoon series as well, especially the Feliner and the Thunderstrike. So those are three more vehicles that were advertised but were never produced. So.
How many of these do we have? Because I know we had some.
I know I had a Lino with
what I was thinking.
Light up eyes, but that is really the only one I can remember having.
Okay.
So
that's what I was going to say. I vaguely remember a Lino being around, but couldn't remember if we had any more. So John, you don't remember?
I remember that because it had.
I don't remember.
It had the light up eyes. That's why I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember what we had on these.
Okay, another thing I want to chat about real quick is the fact that this had 3 series, but every series had a re-release of the other series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the original 8 are the original ones which I'm looking at is referred to as the 8-back cards. And then series 2, you've got the 14 backs. So besides, was it Tigra that was majorly different in the second one? There's no big difference in like the other characters.
No, and the only really difference was, some of them from series 1 to series 2, they added
the companion
character with them. Yeah, the companion, right. And then
But the figure themselves may not be different. So if you're looking to collect, if you're looking to collect these, I don't know if there's a way to really tell what year they came out, unless this is one thing that I've noticed on my turtles, my original turtles. The year they were released is actually stamped on the back, like part of the trademark. So that may be a way that you can tell on these as to what year they came out. But
series 1, if you look at the packaging, series 1 had a black background.
Yeah.
Series 2 and series 3 had a white splash behind the figures. So if you had one that was carded, you could tell the difference between Series 1.
Right. If it's
and
carded,
Series
you're
2
have
and
a
3.
problem.
But 2 and 3 look the same on the cards. So
Yeah. Well, the difference on the cards is how many figures are on the back of the card.
yeah, you also have the back as well. But
You got the back.
front,
You're just looking at the front. Yeah. So if you are looking to collect some of these, which these are pretty cool, I wouldn't mind having a few or whatever. But you just got to pay attention to what you're getting if you're not getting carded figures. So, and if you are getting carded figures, you're paying a pretty penny. So that's there.
One thing I got to say about the cartoon to me actually held up. I mean, I've gone back and watched a few of them. Rainey actually last year, COVID stuff, when she was at home a lot, she actually watched the entire series. We watched we have all seasons on DVD, and she sat down and watched from all the way from start to finish on these, and I sat down and watched a few of them with her. But to me, the cartoon held up pretty good. So
that's the 1985 series. Did you rewatch the 2000? What?
I have never seen any of the newer versions of it.
Not the 2011, but the 2020 series, ThunderCats Roar. You should really watch that one. It's horrible.
Was that you should watch Nickelodeon one?
Yes, they're all annoying, and it's really horrible. It's really bad.
Yeah, they didn't. But it's funny. The first couple of remakes they made of it, or re-released it, whatever, didn't really take off.
Yeah.
So.
I think this one's prime for a movie. Like, I think the ThunderCats are prime for a movie.
They have had talks. Yeah, been in talks with trying to make a movie and some ideas, but it never has gotten off the ground.
Because I think this is an awesome series. It's a great storyline. Really cool figures, really cool characters. The sword of Omens is freaking awesome. So I think it would be awesome if they made a live action movie with this.
Yeah, like I said, I've heard some castings and stuff for certain characters, but like I said, it hasn't got off the ground yet.
Did they cast
one that people were talking about? But
they should cast Jack Black as Snarf. I think that works.
That'll work.
So, all right. So what else we have? We need to rank these guys. I need to pull up our rankings real quick. I hope you guys know how you want to rank them. But before I do that, I want to, as I'm pulling this up, I want you to, Michael, take a look at this. Ooh.
That's scary looking.
It's those eyes. Okay. Let me pull up our rankings.
All right.
So we've got 9 things on our rankings. So where are you guys ranking these guys at?
I'm gonna put them at number 4.
Number 4 for Michael.
Number 4. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Right above slot cars?
Yeah. Right under Nintendo NES.
John?
4.
Number 4 for you also. So underneath slot cars. And I'm going to go with 4 also underneath slot cars for me. Just because I remember playing with the slot cars a little bit more than I do actually with these. But they're a little more important to me than the Johnny Lightnings. The Johnny Lightnings just don't do much for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Johnny Lightning. But I don't care. So it's 4s across the board. That's again, we've done this before. Like we got to get into when we got a whole bunch of stuff on here, we get into some really good toy lines. We're still in the top 10. So, things are kind of weaving and flowing there. So 4s across the board. I think that's a pretty good one for us. So what else do we have left, guys? Let's see. We've ranked. I don't have any facts about these because it was hard to find anything that was toy related, really.
Most of the stuff you see is cartoon related. Yeah,
it's a lot of cartoon related, which is a great cartoon. Go watch the cartoon; it's a lot of fun. So, let's we need to run through our shout outs real quick. before we wrap this one up. First off, shout out to Geek Together. Go check them out. We will be back to do some showcases with them. Just trying to get things lined up. So go check them out. Check out their social medias. I know they go live. They've got a show on Thursdays, maybe. I know they've got Saturday nights. They've got a couple other shows that they're doing. So be sure you check them out.
Are they starting Robbie Sack?
Yep, they're doing Robbie Sack, but I don't know what night they're doing Robbie Sack. So then check out the Average Nerd podcast. Shout out to the Four Dorksmen for having just went over their 100th episode. I am waiting for my ramble that I won with their.
That's a pretty cool looking piece you got there. Yeah.
I can't wait to see it. It's going to be fun. We will have a showcase, and I will showcase that off. So. But be sure to check out them. 4 great guys that are doing a fun job just talking about nerdy and dorky stuff. So pretty awesome. 3 Beers and a Mic, STS guys. Those guys are a lot of fun. Again, on Saturdays again. And I really like, I don't catch them live, but I like listening to them because they're a lot of fun to listen to. Nerdy Curious. I can't even speak. Nerd Portraits, the movie retakes. Totally Rad Movie Podcast, which I believe it's not dead, but you never. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Secondary Heroes. They're going over the Loki stuff right now. Have you guys watched the Loki show any?
Yeah, I actually watched the third show today.
I'm still behind. I got to watch the second one. I haven't watched the second one yet, so I got to watch both of them.
Yeah, it kind of gives you more questions than answers as you go along. So
great, that's just what we need. The Figure Booth with Nate over on STS guys. Go so check him out on the Figure Booth. Second Opinion, and then obviously check out Sully, who just today did a celebration. I guess it's Wednesday, the day before. He did a celebration about 1 year on Twitch. So lots of fun there. Lots of great stuff going on. If you're like in need of dorky, nerdy stuff, there's plenty out there. So go devour it. And so, yeah. John, give us a little rundown on our social medias again so people know where to find us.
All right, so check out our website, toyrewindpodcast.com. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook, YouTube, Toy Rewind Podcast. Podcast Bingo at podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind.
Yeah, and all the links for those, all the links for our merch. If you want to go get a t-shirt and support us, or stickers or whatever kind of thing, go check it out. All those links are on our website, toyrewindpodcast.com. Stickers. We do have some stickers. If you want a sticker, send us a bingo card. If you send us a bingo card, John will send you stickers.
I will.
We've got a whole bunch of them. We'd like to give them to you. So get the word out that we're still doing this. It's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of episodes kind of online that are down the line that we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff. And we are coming up real close to our 1 year. So it's hard to believe that we've been doing this for a year.
Yeah. It's gone by quick.
Yeah. John started collecting. I've moved 17 times. Michael's got more Hot Wheels. It's been a pretty good year.
Yeah. I mean, I started collecting. I think I've done pretty decent.
Pretty decent for a year, man. I mean, so all right. Anything you guys want to add to ThunderCats before we wrap it?
Did you
ThunderCats,
Did you know the sword had a curse on it? The Sword of Omens?
Mm-hmm. It had a curse on it?
It had a curse on it.
If you look at it, you can't see for 7 weeks?
So it was designed to defend the ThunderCats, but it had a curse on it that if it came into the wrong hands, it would repel it in order to keep the ThunderCats safe.
Interesting.
Just a little sword thought.
Just a little sword thought with your swords behind you there. All right. Well, this has been episode 40. This is 44?
44.
Am I right on that? Yeah. I've gotten that wrong before. So I want to make sure. Yeah. So we talked about ThunderCats. Lots of fun. Great toy line. And on behalf of the Brothers Newland here at the Toy Rewind podcast, I got to find the button. Play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind Podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.